Hi, I'm Sean Cusack.
Hi, I'm Christine Escazuro.
Hi, I'm Sayed Gulani.
Hi, I'm Bangani Nari.
Hi, I'm Noor Aini.
Hi, I'm Herbert Yodaswar.
Turing Pharmaceutical is a private pharmaceutical company with two products currently on the market. Daraprim for the treatment of toxoplasmosis and Vacimil for the treatment of hypertension. Founded in February 2015 by Martin Shkreli. Turing Pharmaceuticals headquarters are located in Zug, Switzerland, with other offices in New York City. The controversy surrounding Turing Pharmaceuticals stems from the price increase of the drug Daraprim that they market.
They acquired the US marketing rights to Daraprim from Impax Laboratories in August of 2015. 1 month later, in September 2015, Turing raised the price from $13.50 to $750, an increase of price of over 5,000%.
Daraprim is used for the treatment of toxoplasmosis. Toxoplasmosis is a disease caused by a spore-forming parasite that is transmitted mainly through uncooked meats, soil, or cat feces. More than 60 million Americans may be infected. However, a healthy person's immune system usually keeps that parasite from forming an illness.
Daraprim is used in patients who have a compromised immune systems, often either from HIV infection or if they are undergoing cancer treatments. Only about 2,000 Americans use Daraprim each year.
Price gouging from a pharmaceutical company is not uncommon. However, this example received widespread criticism due to the severity of the rise of a life-saving drug.
In response to Daraprim price issue mentioned by Herbert and Sean, the company has faced heated criticism and unprecedented anger and sparked a furious backlash from general public and dissatisfaction from the stakeholders. Reaction arise from the precipitated price hike mostly from the public. But beforehand, I will talk about the stakeholders' reaction. According to the CEO of the company, patients are their primary stakeholders, and the reaction that the company gets from the patients are dissatisfactions on how unreasonable and drastic the price increase overnight. Moreover, the executives or staffers have objected the decisions of increasing the price because it would have a severely negative impacts on Turing business and reputation. Coming back to the public's reactions, there are a lot of reactions that have arisen from this issue, such as some activists hold signs along with the image of the CEO Martin Shkreli in front of the Turing office in New York back in October 2015. Moreover, there are some universal social media criticism arise by a lot of people from different classes expressing their feelings and thoughts about this issue. Other than that, people are calling names to Martin due to feeling of dissatisfaction regarding the price change.
So who's responsible? Martin Shkreli is the American CEO and founder of Turing Pharmaceuticals. He's not the typical CEO of a company who wears suits and ties, but rather favors to wear sweatshirts and jeans. In just 3 years, Martin was named to be one of the top biotech entrepreneurs. He is very outspoken and insulting, especially during the price hike. Martin Shkreli has been charged by Securities Exchange Commission of falsifying assets funds in December 2010. The amount of assets should be less than $1,000, but he written it as $35 million. He is known to deceive investors. So how did Martin Shkreli become a pharmaceutical CEO? According to Bruce Y. Lee, Martin Shkreli had no background experience or profession in relation to drug or disease research. Unlike Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and Larry Page, who have direct field experience with their respective companies like Microsoft, Apple, and Google. He has also showed lack of understanding and interest in his customers. If Martin Shkreli truly respects Turing Pharmaceuticals patients, then the drastic increase of Daraprim drug of almost 5,000% increase would not occur.
How does this corporate scandal relate to the accounting disclosures, corporate governance, and corporate social responsibility? For accounting disclosures, Turing Pharmaceuticals could get away with it because it's a private enterprise and they are not required to produce any financial statements. They've got a minimum requirement in terms of disclosures. The Australian government recently introduced in March 2016 that if any private enterprise earns more than 200 million, their taxable income and their expenses will be published according to their tax returns. In relation to earnings management, we couldn't really look at the Turing Pharmaceuticals earnings management because we have got no access to their financial statements. Corporate governance is in relation when we look at how we balance the interests of all stakeholders. Turing Pharmaceuticals failed that balance to balance the interest of their stakeholders. They concentrated more on management rather than their customers, as when they increased their price by 5,000%, they also increased the salaries of 3 executives, and they had a high bill for a party that they held on a yacht. The CEO then resigned to make it look like they are fixing their corporate governance. Corporate social responsibility. In relation to corporate social responsibility, there is a utilitarian view that there is pain versus pleasure. There is pain that the price increasing by 5,000% causes most people not being able to afford the pill. But there is pleasure that the profits are going to more research. But who knows if these profits are really going to the research and the minority is going to suffer.
We can see Turing Pharmaceuticals using institutional theory in reference to price gouging as is not an uncommon practice within the industry. A perfect example is when Remicade increased the price of doxycycline, a generic antibiotic used to treat sexually transmitted diseases, urinary infection, acne, and other skin infections, from $20 per bottle to $1,800 per bottle.
In response to the price hike, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders both accused Turing Pharmaceuticals of price gouging. Hillary Clinton further promised to unveil her plans to, and I quote, wrangle the drug prices to the ground. Bernie Sanders also wrote an email to ask for a further explanation. Both nominees are using the public interest theory as well as private interest theory in regards to gaining public votes for the upcoming election.
Using the owner-manager agency theory with a slight modification, we can make a connection to Turing Pharmaceuticals with respect to the principal being the customer. As theoretically speaking, pharmaceutical companies should be working for the betterment of public health, and the agent being the management or board of Turing Pharmaceuticals. We can see a clear dilemma, with the board members wanting to make the greatest possible return on their investment and acquisition of Dermapen, but the public wanting to be able to afford the drug at a reasonable price for their future health and prosperity.
There are a number of impacts that comes from this Turing Pharmaceutical case, especially in the workforce. In the United States, there isn't any regulations that sets the price range of a drug, and therefore pharmaceutical companies, they can set whatever price they want. So if a new regulation is set to limit the price of the drug, it would decrease the profitability of most pharmaceutical companies.
And also, because of the stock price fall in the industry, most pharmaceutical companies have to be careful with their budgeting.
They would have to cut down on labor, human resource, and research and development. In that case, most of these pharmaceutical companies will go to outsourcing because it will cost a lot cheaper than the local workers. Yeah, that's it.
The lessons that can be learned from not only this scandal, but from the pharmaceutical industry as a whole are:
First is about the price gouging, where we found that it does not actually benefit anyone apart from the profit margins of the company. To avoid this from happening, regulation needs to be put into place to stop price gouging from happening caused by greedy managers. Next, companies should follow the price range or ceiling price that has been set out by government regulators. Other than that, maximum price range increase also need to be set, which still going to be reasonable and affordable for everyone to buy.
Secondly, open markets and reduced restrictions on imported drugs can help in occurrence of price gouging. Drugs must be subject to FDA approval and regulations must be set, as this will increase competition and reduce price of many prescription and life-saving drugs. An example could be the standard price of Daraprim in UK, Canada, and Australia is only $1.
In conclusion, these simple solutions can be used to transfer the power from big pharmaceutical companies to the consumer. After all, medicine should be a right, not an unaffordable expense.